Among the Philistines. The destruction of Sodom induced Abraham to journey to Gerar. Accustomed to extend hospitality to travelers and wayfarers, he no longer felt comfortable in a district in which all traffic had ceased by reason of the ruined cities. There was another reason for Abraham's leaving his place. The people spoke too much about the ugly incident with Lot's daughters. Arriving in the land of the Philistines, he again, as aforetime in Egypt, came to an understanding with Sarah that she was to call herself his sister. When the report of her beauty reached the king, he ordered her to be brought before him, and he asked her whom her companion was. And she told him that Abraham was her brother. Entranced by her beauty, Abimelech the king took Sarah to wife, and heaped marks of honor upon Abraham in accordance with the just claims of a brother of the queen. Toward evening, before retiring, while he was still seated upon his throne, Abimelech fell into a sleep, and he slept until morning. And in the dream he dreamt that he saw an angel of the Lord raising his sword to deal him a death blow. Sore frightened, he asked the cause, and the angel replied and said, "Thou wilt die on account of the woman thou didst take into thy house for this day, for she is the wife of Abraham, the man whom thou didst cite before thee. Return his wife unto him. But if thou restore her not, thou shalt surely die, thou and all that are thine." In that night the voice of a great crying was heard in the whole land of the Philistines, for they saw the figure of a man walking about, with sword in hand, slaying all that came in his way. At the same time, it happened that in men and beasts alike, all the apertures of the body closed up, and the land was seized with indescribable excitement. In the morning, when the king awoke, in agony and terror, he called all his servants and told his dream in their ears. One of their number said, "O Lord and King, restore this woman unto the man, for he is her husband. It is but his way in a strange land to pretend that she is his sister. Thus did he with the king of Egypt too, and God sent heavy afflictions upon Pharaoh when he took the woman unto himself. Consider also, O Lord and King, what hath befallen this night in the land. Great pain, wailing, and confusion there was, and we know that it came upon us only because of this woman." There were some among his servants who spake, "Be not afraid of dreams. What dreams made known to man is but falsehood." Then God appeared unto Abimelech again, and commanded him to let Sarah go free, otherwise he would be a dead man. Abimelech replied, "Is this thy way? Then I ween the generation of the flood and the generation of the confusion of tongues were innocent too. The man himself did say unto me, She is my sister. And she, even herself, said, He is my brother. And all the people of their household said the same words. And God said unto him, Yea, I know that thou hast not yet committed a trespass, for I withheld thee from sinning. Thou didst not know that Sarah was a man's wife, but it is becoming to question a stranger. No sooner does he set foot upon thy territory, about the woman accompanying him, whether she be his wife or his sister? Abraham, who is a prophet, knew beforehand the danger to himself if he revealed the whole truth. But being a prophet, he also knows that thou didst not touch his wife, and he shall pay for thee, and thou shalt live. The smoke was rising from the ruins of Sodom, and Abimelech and his people, seeing it, feared that a like fate might overtake them. The king called Abraham and reproached him for having caused such great misfortune through his false statements concerning Sarah. Abraham excused his conduct by his apprehension that, the fear of God not being in the place, the inhabitants of the land slay him for his wife. Abraham went on and told the history of his whole life, and he said, When I dwelt in the house of my father, the nations of the world sought to do me harm, But God proved himself my Redeemer. When the nations of the world tried to lead me astray to idolatry, God revealed himself to me and said, Get out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house. And when the nations of the world were about to go astray, God sent 2 prophets, my kinsmen, Shem and Aver, to admonish them. Abimelech gave rich gifts to Abraham, wherein he acted otherwise than Pharaoh in similar circumstances. The Egyptian king gave gifts to Sarah, but Abimelech was God-fearing and desired that Abraham pray for him. To Sarah he gave a costly robe that covered her whole person, hiding her seductive charms from the view of beholders. At the same time, it was reproached to Abraham that he had not fitted Sarah out with the splendor due his wife. Though Abimelech had done him great injury, Abraham not only granted him the forgiveness he craved, but also he prayed for him to God. Thus he is an exemplar unto all. Man should be pliant as a reed, not hard like the cedar. He should be easily appeased and slow to anger, and as soon as he who has sinned against him asks for pardon, he should forgive him with all his heart. Even if deep and serious injury has been done to him, he should not be vengeful, nor bear his brother a grudge in his heart. Abraham prayed thus for Abimelech. O Lord of the world, thou hast created man that he may increase and propagate his kind. Grant that Abimelech and his house may multiply and increase. God fulfilled Abraham's petition in behalf of Abimelech and his people. And it was the first time it happened in history of mankind that God fulfilled the prayer of one human being for the benefit of another. Abimelech and his subjects were all healed of their diseases, and so efficacious was the prayer offered by Abraham that the wife of Abimelech, barren hitherto, bore a child.